Hey, what's going on, family? It's your girl, P. Koffe Brown here in the great state of Texas by way of Houston. And I have come across a unique way for you to turn your phone into a well-oiled money-making machine with just a few clicks of a few buttons from learning a skill set that will not only pay you today, but it will pay you for life. If you want to know more information about how you can participate in our community and start learning today and earning while you're learning, you can literally take 1 to 2 hours a day to eliminate the 8 to 10 hours you're giving to somebody else. Listen, hit me up. Let me know you're open and interested. I'd love to share with you what we're doing and how it can be a blessing to you and your family. Do not wait. Start making this thing pay you. Let the phone pay for itself, family. Love you guys. Enjoy the balance of the day. Peace. And don't forget, comment TNT. Peace. Going on, family? Welcome to this week's edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. We have some of our usual suspects in the building this evening, including Jason Thibodeau, who is in an undisclosed location at this time. He is not at the office.
I see what you're doing already. See you starting already. There we go. I was trying to be on my best behavior.
It had to be done. I had to do it for the movie. I had to do it for the gram.
Yeah, because I'm definitely not in the man cave right now. As you can tell, I don't have a sauna and some workout equipment behind me.
I had to do it for the gram. I'm sorry. I mean,
I'm not as fancy as y'all. I don't always have these little fancy backdrops and stuff, you know, that make it look like I'm in some $1 million house like Vincent, trying to make it look like, you know.
Hey, man, we in the studio. We're locked in. We're in the studio.
Let's do it.
Now, okay?
Right?
Me and Vincent locked in. We in the studio. We on set. Okay? And don't hate on us because we on set.
Not hating at all. I ain't got none but love.
Hate on us because we on set.
We're in the work. We involved in the work.
We putting in the work, man. Period. So this week, it's been a lot going on. This week, we're gonna dive right into it because we're gonna have a lot to talk about. Okay. Oh man, peace in the middle of chaos. How to stay grounded in the midst of instability. You talk about instability. Our nation is probably the most unstable I think I've ever seen it in my lifetime. I don't think I've ever seen as much instability in our nation as it is right now. Mm-hmm. So we're going to start out with the world news that happened over the course of the past few days. This week, let me rephrase that. This week, the Hulk passed away. 71 years young. I grew up with the Hulk, loved him as a child, and just, all the fake stuff that wrestling did back in the day, with the, all that stuff.
Is that how did that go again, Koffe? How was that? How did that go?
All of those.
Well, look here, brother. Yeah.
Jumping in there and boom.
You gotta get the hand movements.
Yeah, and then you gotta do the jump, and you gotta go, pow. And all that extra stuff that they used to do. I was like, this is so fake.
We can tell who was jumping off the bunk beds and stuff at the house.
My dad used to be like, how you know it's fake? Every other child in the world be thinking it's real. I'm like, dude, this can't be real. How you fall on something like that and not get hurt? That's not real, Dad.
They got hurt sometimes. They used to cut themselves for real.
Yeah, they got hurt. I know they got hurt. But some of that stuff, come on, y'all. It had to be fake. It wasn't real, for real. Nonetheless, 71 years young. I thought he was older because when I was a shorty, he looked old to me. He never did really look like a young guy. So he always had like that older kind of demeanor, older guy kind of demeanor stuff going on. So he passed And then
I was
America.
about to say something, Vincent. I'm
Yeah.
being real good right now.
I was going to say
I
something
know
to
you
it. I
was about
caught
to go in.
myself.
I saw the whole look on your face, which was getting ready to be a whole problem. In this movie. You was getting ready to get booted from the studio.
Yeah.
You was about to get booted, man. You was just
You
about
love
to get,
me. I'm not going nowhere.
you was about to get booted from the studio, man. So my heart was so saddened when I found out that my brother from another Mr. and Mrs. passed away tragically in a drowning incident. However, the good part about that story is they were able to save his daughter. Come to find out, his daughter was with him. Some surfers noticed them and they were able to rescue her, get her to safety. But of course, we lost a dear friend to America, period, in Malcolm Jamal Warner this week. You know, may he rest peacefully. Philanthropist, businessman, entrepreneur, celebrity, movie star, kept his nose clean, even though he had three wives, but kept his nose clean. Other than that, he had a lot of
likes
wives.
love.
He likes love, man. He was like, I'm not giving up on love. I'm gonna keep trying. So
He's a serial husband.
He was a keep trying on love.
Right.
It's like, I'm gonna keep trying. I'm not gonna stop till I find the one.
I know a few of those, few serial husbands, you know.
Listen. And, you know, it was so sad because his daughter just had her birthday and they were celebrating and just enjoying themselves. He, his wife, and the baby girl. And unfortunately, he passed so tragically. But America had some great things to say about him. Quite a few people, including some people in the news world, were talking about the impact that he made on society as just a whole, not necessarily from one ethnos, but he was holistic in his approach to health, wellness, family, you know, everything that goes along with that. And he was an advocate for underprivileged and people who were dealing with all types of different things. He was a poet and an artist, had a lot going on, great, solid humanoid, did well. You know, it was interesting because one thing about him was he was able to survive the entirety of being a celebrity. Like most children don't survive that whole process. Something happens to them along the way. And he did not have that disparity that we normally see in childhood celebrities. He was graced not to have to address that or deal with it. He was really blessed. Unlike some of the other stars that were on the show, they had some challenges going on as they began their journey to adulthood. He had none. He just kind of went from there to, you know, he made a few cameo appearances and went dark for a little while as far as in the public eye. We didn't see him for a number of years, and then all of a sudden he pops up on The Resident about 9 years ago, maybe 8-9 years ago, when The Resident came out, the medical show, which was a spin-off of Grey's Anatomy. They kind of wanted to do it from a different angle, and he did a fantastic job with that show. Him and Morris Chestnut became great friends as a result of that show. And Tracy Ellis Ross was like really devastated behind it because he was her first TV husband in he was literally her first television husband. So he did a lot, man. He did a lot. Great, solid guy. Really a really solid humanoid. 54 years young, y'all. He was only 54 years young. Young guy. Crazy, just crazy.
Now,
interesting enough, there was a girl that was missing some years ago. I don't know if y'all remember this story, but she passed away in that same area where somebody thought that somebody had kidnapped her or something. I can't remember the whole story, but it was some years back. And come to find out, she drowned in that same body of water.
Because I thought this happened at his house. So you blew me away. I didn't realize this happened, you know.
He was in
about when they said accidental drowning, I just assumed it was the pool in the backyard or something.
No, he was overseas on vacation with his wife. They had footage of him and her in the airport, waiting to board the plane and everything. So he was apparently in Costa Rica and getting ready to have a great time with his wife and his daughter, and drowned on that Sunday.
Believe it or not, when I heard it, I knew it wasn't at home.
No, because that would be weird.
I knew it wasn't at home.
Yeah.
Well, it was weird for me because when it came out, what was it, first thing in the morning that he had passed, I was like, if he's in California, then they're 2 hours behind us.
Thursday, I think he passed Tuesday.
Yeah.
It was Tuesday.
Because at first, when I heard about it, I was like, wait a minute, an accidental drowning. I was like,
Yeah.
this happened overnight? I mean, he was out swimming at night or something? You know, I don't know
Crazy.
where my mind went with that. But I mean,
Absolutely
yeah,
crazy.
definitely prayers up for he and his family. Also for Hulk Hogan. You just called him the Hulk earlier. So for the
The
woman,
Hulk,
she was talking
man.
about Hulk Hogan, not just
Hulk.
not the Incredible Hulk, but Hulk Hogan. You know, prayers to their families, man. You know, Hulk definitely came under some scrutiny over the past couple of years because of some of his business affairs, but we still don't wish ill on anybody, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Not at all. Because regardless of whatever, and nobody's perfect, he still was a real pivotal presence from the early 80s all the way into the 90s.
that's back when Coffee was
Right.
jumping off the bunk beds in the early 80s. How did it go?
Pretty much. Boom, pow. You see how I did that? You see I was
Right.
practicing now. Don't laugh about it.
I'm just having fun with you, but you know.
Like for real.
But no, in terms of Malcolm Jamal Warner, I mean, he was a very talented individual, and I don't think everybody realizes just how talented he was. I mean, he was an actor, a philanthropist, like you said, entrepreneur. He was a musician.
Yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
dude was very well
talented.
versed in, you know,
He was doing
in the arts.
thing. He was doing his thing, man. We can't forget about somebody else, Coffee. Ozzy
Yeah.
Osbourne.
Yeah, that's somebody who likes biting the heads
Yeah.
off of pigeons and
Yeah.
stuff, you know.
That's another big
Yeah,
name.
Ozzy Osbourne died. What was it? Yesterday, day before?
Yesterday.
Mm-hmm. Now, I mean, okay, even though that is still a tragedy, let's just say, I mean, we're not surprised. I'm surprised he made it as far as he did, you know, with the admitted drug usage and stuff. But I mean, you know, prayers to that family and stuff as well. Because yeah, I mean, yeah. Dude
Like
used to wild out back in the day. I mean, he was a hell of an artist, but dude definitely used to wild out back in the day.
But that
He can
comes
get
with
your
the
attention.
territory, man. That comes with the territory of being a musician.
It does.
Yeah, man. I mean, there's no way that you could come up with some of the creative things that they have if they were a normal, everyday person. They're not normal.
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Hence the reason why pretty much all three of us rock the boat from every now and again we shake the tree, because if we can't be 100% normal like everybody else, or we wouldn't be here right now. Let's just be honest with each other, right?
Yeah, that's true.
What you about to say, Coffee? I see you shaking your head. You know you shake the tree too. You shake people's tree.
You know, I don't really know what you're talking about right now, Jason. You know,
and since you was just talking about kicking me off the show, but I still got my comment out when I was talking about early 80s.
I mean, you know,
being accusatory, Jason. It's not fair.
We choose not to make violent approaches in certain
period
things,
right?
But, you know, but somehow it happens to happen. You know,
exactly.
You know, thank you for acknowledging that, though. I really appreciate that, Vincent. Thanks for acknowledging that, because
delivery is everything.
He's choosing violence, you know. He's choosing violence for sure.
I'm just correct.
Let's talk about this.
Yeah, man.
You know, attempting to live through chaos.
Mm-hmm.
You know, where we're surrounded by it. You know, chaos. Some of the teachers actually I was talking with the educator on yesterday who was a principal, and she was just talking about how they're attempting to figure out what they're going to be doing to provide food for the children that are underprivileged that go to their school. It's an inner city school. It's a Title I school. And so they were receiving funding because they were inner city and Title I that has been now revoked. They're trying to literally figure out what are they going to do in order to be able to make certain that these children have food and they are provided for the basic necessities that they were normally leaning into the school for. So they're trying to figure out what they can do within the legal parameters, because there are certain things that they cannot do. True. You know, so they're just trying to figure out what they can do legally to really support these children and take care of them. Mm-hmm. And, you know, as we were conversing about it, I was like, man, that's crazy that y'all have to try to figure out what you can do legally.
Yep.
What does that even mean? Like
Yeah,
what does that
because you
even
got to keep in mind, I mean, it's become darn near illegal to give homeless people on the side of the road food out of your car
correct?
without a legit license or anything else. And now what hurts me is the fact that they're constantly messing with the kids
Mm-hmm.
and eating. You got to keep in mind, and it's very, very, very unfortunate, but that lunch that these kids get at times is their only meal for the day, and now you're trying to find a way to cut that.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
That's
if
crazy.
it, how evil do you have to be to continuously mess with the kids and stuff? I mean, you got to understand that if you keep knocking people down, taking food out of their mouths and money out of their pocket, at some point there's going to be some form of uprising.
Yeah.
If you don't want the uprising, stop messing with people and at least let them think that they're doing okay. But if
Mm-hmm.
you're blatantly taking food out of people's mouths, I can't remember if I sent y'all that article that was talking about your commander in thief was sitting here ordering, I think it was 500 metric tons of emergency food that he's having destroyed.
Yeah.
That way, the people in these concentration camps and the students and everything else can't get any food. 500 metric tons of food destroyed, and there's nothing wrong with it. But we got people going hungry every day.
Wow.
Yeah, that's that man. I don't even know what to say to that right now. That's crazy.
I
And
can't. I thought I sent it to you, but I may not have because
You didn't
I
say
go through a bunch of stuff. But I mean, five. Think about that. 500 metric tons. 500 tons
that's
of
crazy.
food being destroyed just so you won't have anything to feed the homeless and everything. That's crazy.
That is real crazy.
But like
And
Tupac said, if you keep denying me food, at some point I'm going to come take the
mm-hmm.
food off of your plate. I'm gonna ask first, maybe even the second time. The third time I'm kicking the door in and I'm about to come get something to eat.
yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, yeah. It's just. I mean,
It's sad. It's ridiculous.
it
Yeah.
is
It is.
outrageous. It's outrageous because
The worst thing, he's allowed to do it. That's
the
what's really
I think
crazy.
I think I think
He isn't
even
allowed, they're allowing him.
I think even worse than that
You know
is
what I
that
mean?
I think worse than that, and like just to take him out of the equation in totality, the we have so many individuals in this nation that have the capacity to support and not necessarily in totality take care of them. That's not an expectation. We don't want to make it seem like somebody responsible for the whole world system getting this and that and the other. However, we do have enough people who have the ability that could support,
Mm-hmm.
could actually help, and they shut their bowels of compassion up. It's even the Bible that talks about that. Like it's interesting because Christ made a comment. He said, if I was hungry, I wouldn't even come to you. If I was naked, I wouldn't even come to you. If
Wow.
I needed something, I wouldn't even ask you. I literally would not ask you because I know you're not going to do
Mhm.
it.
Right.
And and if the if Christ, who was deemed as the most important humanoid to walk the face of this planet, literally based on his assignment as a humanoid in the human form that the human energy that we exist in, the
Mm-hmm.
most important human to walk the planet. If he says something like, if I was hungry, I wouldn't even ask you, I wouldn't even come to you. If I have no clothes, I wouldn't even ask you because I know you're not going to do it. It's unfortunate because that's the truth of what's happening right now. It's nothing new under the sun. There's absolutely nothing new. Nothing happening now has not already happened.
Mm-hmm.
And it's just unfortunate that we exist in a world like that. And this is where we as leaders, we as leaders have to step up and do what it is that we're able to do
Mm-hmm.
to add value and support and and give as much as we can. So this past weekend we took a group of young ladies and had them to go serve at the food bank, just for
Mhm.
them to understand that you see these tons and tons of food that we have here, all these, I mean, it was tons and tons. If you live in Houston, if you have been in the food bank, I strongly encourage you to go visit. There is tons and tons of food there.
Hmm.
Why do we need tons of food? Why do we need tons of food? What is going on in a huge metropolitan city with countless people that are eight and seven, eight, nine-figure income earners, and we got to have a food bank with tons. I'm not talking about a little bit of food. It was about 60 of us per assignment.
And that's only usually one aisle or two. That's
Right. And
only a
I
couple of
mean,
rows in that rack system.
correct. It was only like, I mean, it was like 60 of us in two rows, and then
Hmm.
it was probably like hundreds. It was hundreds of people there
And these are
volunteering.
volunteers. These people aren't getting paid. These are
Hundreds.
volunteers.
It was hundreds of us. It was hundreds
Yeah.
of us there volunteering. And it's so unfortunate that, we have to do something like this in order to just take care. And this is not, now dig this, the food bank is not just feeding the homeless, they're feeding people who live in
Elderly.
regular communities who are
Yep.
just not able to make to put things together to the point where they got to have some, they got to get food from somewhere, and they're scraping the barrel attempting to get food. Now, I won't make it seem as though um everybody's bad off, everybody's doing bad, and no, that's not the point of the conversation. The topic is about the chaos that's going on right now. We're in the midst of chaos, calamity, and confusion in our nation. At the height of the chaos, calamity, and confusion is all of these individuals who can actually add value. So, when someone may approach me and say, well, what are you doing? Oh, I'm doing my part for sure. I'm going to do my
Hmm.
part because I understand that, like I said a couple weeks ago, we're all in the same race, the human race. And if it were, I wouldn't want to be on the receiving end of having to go try to find a plate of food. I wouldn't want to have to be that. I wouldn't want to have to address or have to deal with that ever. So definitely going to support those individuals is just, it just is a reminder of the gratitude that we should have, that we can just go to the store with our little attitudes about paying $99 for 3 items. But we got the $99. You know what I'm saying? We got the
Hmm.
$99 to go pay for the groceries while we're upset with them. We got our big houses with our three, four, $500,000 worth of equity. We sitting on a savings account, sitting in our houses, comfortable, running the air conditioner, upset because the AC bill is high. But the key is you got the AC, and somebody else is
Hmm.
outside dealing with the elements, and it's 103 degrees.
Right.
Come on. Where's our priorities at? You know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
where do our priorities lie? When will we ever get to the point where we have our priorities together and we understand that we all in the human race and we all need each other?
And not only is it volunteers that are breaking down these pallet loads and putting together bags and boxes of food items for families, it's also volunteers that are delivering them.
Facts.
I mean, I'm putting this in perspective for a city
Absolutely
to be
facts.
as big as Houston is, and they have them in other cities as well. Put
Hmm.
in perspective that you got hundreds of volunteers per day
Per
come
day.
in and they are taking these food products and they're putting them together. What y'all don't know is that some of these food products, if they're canned goods and everything else, they're past the expiration date, some of them. These are
Yeah.
donations from other people as well as, I mean, the money is all donated as well as from the government, some of it. But in terms of the canned goods and stuff, a lot of the stuff is past the date, the expiration date. It
Right.
doesn't mean it's bad, but it's getting there. We're
Right.
not always talking about name brand stuff that you would find at your
Right.
grocery store that you complain about, but I
Right.
mean, these are people who are giving up their time and everything else for community service hours and stuff. But really and truly, guys, if you're out there, like I said, I don't care what city or state that you're in, volunteer from time to time. When I say it'll
Yes.
give you a good feeling, it'll definitely give you a good wholesome feeling, knowing that you
Yes.
actually help some families that may not have been able to help themselves. If you one of those sick people, I almost cursed. If you one of those sick people who feel that people who can't feed themselves are beneath you or anything else, keep in mind that this food also goes to the elderly. They can't get
Right.
up and down the stairs, that are not that mobile and able to go to the store.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So you're doing a good thing, and at some point in your life, you're going to be elderly and
Yeah.
or disabled. So I mean, you never know what could actually happen to you.
Let me, Jay, let me piggyback on something you said. Also, it's definitely if you really want to see something impactful, do it during your big holidays, Christmas,
Yes,
Thanksgiving. You will really
Yeah.
have a whole larger perspective on when you may have couldn't get what you needed from the store, or you couldn't get that particular name brand item that you use for your special recipe. Guess what? Some people don't. They have no options at all. And I don't know if y'all are aware of this. They have food banks that are tied to the Houston Food Bank at college campuses now,
yeah.
Jason. Like literally, they and the staff volunteers at the colleges for the food bank.
Wow.
Yeah, because see, you have college students, man. Yeah, they may be on campus, but guess what? Once their meal plan is over, they need food in the room, need snacks and things. So guess what? The campus has seen a need for it, so they decided to set up those particular shops on the campuses now. And for your elementary and your middle schools, they bring deliveries and donations from the Houston Food Bank to the students each month. If you weren't aware of it, they are actually doing it right now.
So it's getting bad out here. It's getting bad. And then
That
you
is
got
so
people who worried about the color of somebody's skin, and you got relatives that can't even provide their own food. But hey, as long as you can tell somebody to pull themselves up by their bootstrap, I guess you feel good about yourself, right?
Hey,
That was a dig. That was a dig at some people who may get a hold of this podcast at some point. And I meant what I said. If you don't have any empathy and or sympathy for the what's going on around you and the people that surround you, I guarantee you're gonna probably end up becoming one of them at some point in your life.
you need to watch what you put out to
That's
the
exactly what
universe.
I'm talking about.
That
Watch
energy,
the energy. Yep.
yeah, it can easily change for you. Nobody is untouchable from karma.
Correct.
A
And
lot of people,
energy doesn't stop. It's always getting transferred. So if you're
yeah,
putting out negative energy, it's just a matter of time before it comes
mhm,
back to you.
yeah. The more you put out, the greater the response.
Correct.
Mhm.
You gonna learn today.
You gonna learn today, today, another day, or one day, but
Man.
it's definitely coming.
But
Yeah.
that's Coffee. That's why I also love your show because I mean these are conversations that Vincent and I have
Yeah,
pretty
we love
regularly,
talking.
and as well as you and I, Coffee. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I mean people need to understand that there's real conversations going on. Not everybody is just what they call them things that on the TV and everything else. Everything is some little story, some little earshot, or what I forgot what they call it. But
I know.
talking point or whatever. It's not just a talking point. I mean, we're talking about some real things that affect real people.
Right.
But a
Right.
lot of times, Jason, people don't understand that until it hits home, and that's sad.
Correct.
That's sad, man. Like you just walk around in a fantasy world with blinders on. I know you see these things,
Yeah.
but all of a sudden, when something touches your doorstep, oh, now it's a major thing. No, that's not how it works. We're
Correct.
supposed to be servants. We're supposed to help each other. We ain't just supposed to just focus on, oh, I'm gonna work with this person because they have this and that. No, that's not how it works.
And understand that everything that you push on any particular group of people is going to come back to you, whether it is some type of illness or whether
Mhm.
it is drugs or whatever else. All of our communities are connected in some form or fashion. So, like during the crack epidemic, there was like, oh my gosh, now it's in our neighborhoods. Well, it always was. I mean, like the opioid thing, it wasn't a problem until it apparently showed up in different neighborhoods, right?
Yeah.
But
Facts.
whatever happens in any other culture that surrounds you is going to eventually affect you.
Hmm.
You know what I
Facts.
mean? So yeah, make sure that you're taking care of your home and taking care of everybody around you.
What's the phrase? The first will be last, and the last will be first.
Mhm.
Ooh, look at you. Go ahead, man. Say it with your chest. That's
And
what
Yeah.
I'm talking
I mean,
about.
yeah,
it's just like I don't know. It's just a lot. It's a lot. It's a lot going on. Um, people are attempting to process what they're experiencing right now. You know, we're still in this weird post-pandemic era where they're still trying to make people separated. And we were just talking about, you know, how a lot of organizations still have it to where people are still ostracized and lonely working from these home environments. And obesity is at a all-time high because people are not moving around, they're not exercising, they're hopping out of bed, hopping on a computer, and they're staying in the house all day, like not going anywhere. And it's still a awkward societal norm that we're under right now that is so very strange, you know, and it's impacted people. And on top of seeing everything going on in the world, people are discouraged and they're depressed, and it's become much worse than we've seen in times past. We've seen depression before, we've seen discouragement before, we've seen fear, we've seen apprehension. Right now, it's just at an all-time high, you know, with what we're experiencing in the world. I was looking at a report about people attempting to get, you know, higher compensating positions. A lot of these roles are having like 1,000 applicants for one position. 1,000 applicants for a position? And they were
that just
also
lets you know how many people aren't working.
Yeah, yeah, and they made it seem like the other day they had a report making it seem as though unemployment was so low and everything like that. And one of the reporters made a comment and he said that can't be true. And he was like, where y'all getting these factors from? You know, and how are you coming up with these numbers? Because with the onset of artificial intelligence, we all know that a lot of positions have become obsolete. They become obsolete, and people don't have another avenue for those same roles. And, you know, what's so crazy is I was looking at a lot of collegiate institutions as far as education is concerned. They're still trying to give a bunch of traditional education. Why? It's not going to be profitable. You know, it should be more information on the artificial intelligence movement and how people can participate in that. You know, more information on how people continue to participate in different industries that may be a little bit uncomfortable, but have the capacity to have more people employed and things like that. And it's just a big disparity, even when it comes to employment. Like, that's just crazy. 1,000 applicants for one role. That doesn't even sound normal. I mean, how is an employer going to even pick from 1,000 applicants?
Well, a lot of times they don't even see most of that. And so, okay, so years ago, maybe what, 10, 11, 12 years? No, longer than that, maybe about 15, close to. I was without a job for about a year and a half. And my number one goal when I was sending in resumes was to get past the computer.
Right.
I want you to hear what I'm saying, is to get past the computer. Because when you send these resumes into these companies, they're looking for keywords on your resume. And if it does not have a certain number and or certain keywords on there, you never make it past the computer. And you're like, think about it, because you got thousands of people going for this one position. How does one person that's living go through all of these applications to find that one special person? So think about how many times you've gotten overlooked for profession. I'm not talking about your hamburger fast food places. I'm talking about more what you would consider careers, right? You'd have to go to school for. And I mean, think about the times that you've gotten overlooked probably in the last 10, 12, 15 years. Most likely it was a computer that kicked you out, not an actual hiring manager.
It's an algorithm that they have, and they look for certain key verbiage, and that's what it focuses in on.
Correct. So if you don't use certain words, or if you don't word it a certain way to make it look like you actually was in that field, then yeah, you're done.
All right. You are definitely toast for sure. For sure. Absolutely. That's just, that's crazy when you think about it. Absolutely crazy. Why anxiety? Why why do you guys think that on the flip side, with our higher paying roles and people being compensated really, really well in their positions, why do you think that anxiety and burnout are still so prevalent with people that seemingly should be stable?
Well, one thing I can say is with that higher paying salary, it comes twice as much more expectation and output. And
Mhm.
Mm,
that's every time. If you think every time you've gotten a
mm,
raise on your job, it was always double the expectation and output that had to come with it.
mm.
So
Oh
That's
yeah.
good.
basically, it really puts you
That's
right
good.
back where you were. You're right back at that same. It's more salary, but guess what? Your workload hasn't got smaller. It's got just as much. So
That's
really,
facts.
you may make more money, but on the mental side of it, you're depleting. And that's what's going on with these people, man. The expectation is no uh, space for you to have mental breaks because the output is so it's like a robot. It's constantly it's that expectation. And then you got people who and up north they deal with this. They have when you have lack of sun, that has
Hmm.
an effect on your psyche. You're in a building 8 hours a day. You never go outside. You're under constant stress, and you wonder why your mental capacity is depleted. You need to step out and go outside. And when you're away from the job, let the job stay there. You'll be surprised, man, that their lack of vitamin D has a big part on your mental state.
Hmm.
So,
Yeah,
that's
that's
a
true.
big part.
That's very true. That is very, very true. Man, that's crazy. That's just
If you look at the
absolutely crazy.
statistics, the data of deaths and mental illness and just overall wellness is extremely high in the United States versus when you go to other countries.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
they live longer. The price of
hmm,
living is less.
yeah.
And guess what? They're more productive.
The
Right.
workload is less.
And yeah, and they're working less. They don't work
Yes,
as much. They work a whole lot less. They do more leisurely activities, that help to stimulate happiness and wellness and the ability to relax and
yeah,
to
man. Because
yeah
that,
to relax and sit down and chill somewhere. They
yeah,
they
man.
they do that and they do it a lot more and they move a lot slower. They're not rushing to do anything. They're not rushing.
Hmm.
They don't have
I'm
that sense of rush for everything.
I'm gonna take another dab at this. Our mental rate, our mental wellness depleted once cell phones became into place. Because see now that job you don't have a break from it.
No, you
Whereas
don't.
before, they couldn't call you at home unless they had to. You in the car, you're not doing that. And that played a big part, a huge part. That's why I tell you, do not sleep with that cell phone in the bed. This thing is giving off radio frequencies. It's vibrating, and that affects your body, your state of mind.
Mhm.
That's why you need to step away from it because it's sad when you can drive and you see regular everyday people, whether they got a job, homeless or not, walking glued to a cell phone.
And don't even look up.
Don't look up. Honestly, the freest I can remember being in terms of electronics was close to 21 years ago when my oldest daughter was about to be born and I was in Trinidad. Beautiful place. Cell phone only worked partially. I could receive calls at times. I could not make calls. But I guarantee you, this is going to sound crazy, but that was about the freest I felt in a long time. And I mean, there's even times when I'm around the house, if I don't feel like talking to anybody, I won't even carry the phone on me. But because of the type of job that I have, I need to become somewhat accessible. You know what I mean? Not necessarily 24/7 like it used to be, but I still have to be accessible in most instances. If we have a loss, I work in insurance, so if we have a major loss or anything like that, that phone's gonna ring at 2 in the morning. You know what I mean? So I agree with Benson. It's like, find a way to untether yourself from the door and phone and your
Amen.
electronics.
I
One
hear
of
you.
the things I started doing every day because I work at the house. Even though, like you said, Coffee, it's been 102 to 105 degrees outside. Almost every day during lunch, I go sit outside for at least 15 minutes in the breezeway. It's still hot outside. I'm still gonna probably end up sweating or whatnot, but I go sit outside. I put the phone off to the side. I'll try to watch something that's either empowering or listen to a little music, and I just witness the world.
Mm-hmm.
I get some vitamin D. I witness the world. I find a way to, reset myself.
Mm-hmm.
And that's definitely helped me a lot with anxiety. Because even working in the house, you don't understand that. You thinking that it's super comfortable because you're just working at the house. Yeah, you can kind of get your clothes washed a little bit, take a little 5 minute break here and there. But the biggest thing I learned about working at the house, and I started doing working at the house ever since I got out of college, in different stints, is that you never get away from the work. So it ain't even just the cell phone. It's the fact that your office is still right there at your house.
Your environment.
You never really get away from it. So even if you have a big project with a deadline, I guarantee you're working more than 8 hours a day
Mm-hmm.
because you can never get away from it. And that deadline is that deadline. Your employee don't give a darn. All they care about is get it done. So you're going to find yourself working 10, 12 hours a day. If you're not careful, you literally have to learn how to set it down, turn it off, and go do something else. Like during COVID times, my wife was considered an essential worker so she had to go to the school and stuff. When she walked in the house, I was walking out the house to go sit outside on the back patio because I couldn't take it anymore. I'd been in the house all day.
Mm-hmm.
Started drinking more, started doing, what I'm saying? I mean, I had to get myself back together, and it was a process because when you're stuck in this particular, I hate to call your house a cell, but I don't mean like a jail cell, but I'm just saying just a cell. But when you're stuck in this particular cell or environment, you got to find a way to release. You got to find a way to get away from it. And unfortunately, what ends up happening, most people end up with negative vices,
Yeah.
drinking, smoking, watching porn on TV all the time. I mean, whatever. And you end up around your spouse or whatever too much. And then before you know it, y'all are fighting or whatever. You
Yeah.
got to have some type of release, positive release.
Yeah. Yeah. And you gotta really, really be able to express, what you're feeling and things like that.
Hmm.
So the people that are around you, they can support you in making sure that you maintain your mental health because
Mm-hmm.
it's people aren't talking and they're falling apart internally and they're suffering greatly, and the people that are around them are not paying attention to the cues and the signs, the isolating, the voluntary isolation. All of a sudden you looking at your person and they were drinking on the weekend, now they drink every single day, and
Hmm.
you not paying attention. You know the reason why we're doing shows like this is to really, really make us aware and more sensitive
Mm-hmm.
Correct.
to what's going on around us,
Very much so.
and to make certain that we're able to support the people that we profess to love and care for. We got to be able to do that because all of us, more so now than ever, we really, really need each other. We need to lean into each other. We need to have those support systems in place and to have people that we can lean in and talk to and be honest with and forthcoming and say, listen, I'm feeling like this, and not be judged by them, not have to worry about being judged or them going back and telling somebody what you're going through and things like that.
A
But to
safe space.
have those people around
Mm-hmm.
is going to be very, very important because this has become our new normal. The isolation, not being around people like we normally were accustomed to, and having those relationships. And you gotta be intentional now in building relationships because the way that our brains have tried to shrink back into
Mm-hmm.
these cave concepts, it's almost like you got to force yourself to say, oh, I'm getting in the car, I'm going somewhere today, I'm gonna drive until I can't drive no more, I'm going somewhere.
Yeah.
um we just got to really work on the people around you, pick up the phone, call people that you haven't spoken to, pick up the phone and call them and check in on them, check and make
Mm-hmm.
sure that they're doing okay. Hey, y'all all right over there? Do y'all need anything? I'm gonna come through. All right, cool. Volunteer to come through and check on things, make sure things are not an array. And just kind of be there for somebody else. And while you're doing that for somebody else, you're really doing it for yourself as well. You're leaning into taking care of you while you're opening up to take care of somebody else. And that's going to be super important, going forward while we're all getting through this challenging time and this battle time. A lot of us have kind of pushed back on even our traveling abroad and things like that because of what's going on, and kind of just wanting to stay safe right now. Just want to take a chill pill, be like, you know what, I'll take a stateside trip until things kind of cool off and get more stabilized. And while everybody is not in agreement about the leadership of this country, and I think we've been divided for a while now, we still have to make sure that we're saying a prayer for the leadership of this nation. He needs our prayers for sure, and not negative stuff, saying crazy things. And I'm not going to even say it on the show. Just saying crazy things. Let's refrain from that and just pray that God has mercy on this nation, on the leadership, give them wisdom, help them to understand, to be compassionate, to love, to care, to have an air of concern for humanity and what our nation is experiencing, what the people of this country is experiencing right now, which leads me to the next part of our conversation, which is let's talk about the mental health practices. What does it look to have boundaries? I know that Vincent talked about recently about meditation. He was talking about meditating and how important that is. A lot of people, I was sharing with a friend of mine on yesterday who was also a certified master coach. He was talking about some people don't even understand how to meditate. They don't even understand how to get still and quiet. Vincent, I'll have you to kind of talk about that a little bit. And then Jason also talked about the limitation of media and having so many short bursts going into your body all the time. How do you recommend people kind of really start to push back? One thing that I did was I just made a conscious choice that I'm not going to use my phone for the first hour of the day. So when I get up, I rise before 6 a.m. on normal instances, except the fact that I stayed up super late last night trading. But on normal instances, I'm up before 6 a.m. and I don't utilize the phone outside of my Bible app, listening to the word and taking in the word of God in the mornings, or some kind of meditation stuff that's going on the system. I'm not using it. It's just on. I refrain from using it from that time till about 7:15 because I have a standing call with some of my team members that time of morning, 7:15. So I take the time from before 6 a.m. to that 7:15 time frame to make sure I'm not utilizing the phone. Another thing that I do is, and I've been doing this for years, is whenever, the cellular device is off somewhere else where it's away from me, during the evening times. And another thing that I do is that I make sure that I shut the phone down. Once I start my wind down period, I have a certain time before I'm actually going to sleep where I let my mind just be removed from everything. Like, somebody may call or something and I just literally don't answer. I don't even pick up the phone. I don't even look to see who it is. I just really won't answer during that time intentionally. And the people that have to reach me at that time is set in my phone for them, like my children, stuff like that. It's literally set to where it'll still ring through. If something happens with my elderly parents or something like that, it'll still ring through for those instances. But outside of that, nobody can reach me. So Jason, what are some things that you would really recommend, especially with people who have, children still in their care that they've got to deal with? What are some things that you would recommend them to do as far as limiting that media, and also the adults? We have become addicted to this technological age. what are some things that you would recommend that people kind of dial back? How can they dial back? What would you recommend? And oh, I watch television probably once a month, if that much. Like if I just get itching and I gotta see it, like last week I think I watched television during Sabbath, just kind of like while I was chilling out. But other than that, I literally don't even watch the television anymore. I just don't even do it. What's some things
Right.
that you would recommend, Jason?
First and foremost, the best way to limit different types of media is actually spending time with each other. Let's just start there. Pay attention to your kids. Spend time with them. Case in point, my daughter was watching TV in the living room, which I can see from my office, so I can see the TV. And we had most of our dogs in the house, free. They just roaming around. And when I got off of work, one of the main things I said was, "Hey, why don't you come outside with me?" Because I went out in the front yard to go take care of some stuff. "Why don't you come outside with me?" And she's like, "Maybe in a little bit." And I just looked at her and I just kind of like, okay. Wasn't 2 minutes after I walked out that door, she walked out. Then she was like, "Well, what, should we let the dogs outside?" I was like, "Absolutely." Then they're only going to run off so far, especially with me out there, right? And we sat outside, not sat, but we were moving around and watering the yard and some other stuff with the dogs running around, probably for about an hour or so. No cell phones, no TV, just time spent outside together.
I love it.
That's one of the main things. That's something I used to do in the morning too, like what you was talking about, because I would only use my phone in the morning just to listen to the radio. That way,
Yeah.
as I'm walking between rooms, the radio is going. I've noticed I have a tendency to do my ionic cleanse before I get on the computer for work or trading or whatnot. And I started noticing while I'm sitting there doing that ionic cleanse for like 30 minutes, I start scrolling, the streets of Facebook, of course, and it's time to kill that habit as well.
The book of faith.
Because it's time to go. I know, right? I can't be book facing first thing in the morning and stuff because that crap gets into your minds. But I also do try to pay attention to what I'm looking at when I'm, doing the TikTok or Facebook thing first thing in the morning. I'm not trying to look at a bunch of dancing and BS and all that other stuff. I'm trying to look at something that actually will enlighten me. But it's time to start going back to the radio or a healthy podcast. It's just, I mean, we have to, like Benson said, there's so many radio waves and EMFs, and it's not just the cell phones, it's the internet that's around us. I mean, you got to keep in mind, man, with all of the internet and the radio waves and everything that's going on. I mean, your cars are starting to collect data on you even as you drive.
Facts.
I mean, your phones are looking at you. I mean, one of the guys we was on trading with last night, he started talking to Alexa by the end of the podcast that we was on at the end of the call. So if you can say, "Alexa, do this," and it does it, who's to say that this thing isn't listening to you the entire time that you're in the house?
Listening to you.
Yeah, and I mean, even my company gave away pucks one time. And they were also saying that if you have these devices, Alexa and the other ones, not to put them in your office because it's listening to you all day long. They say, go put it in the other room.
Yeah.
That was one of the things they asked us to do. And I have one of those little pucks, those Alexa pucks, and outside of listening to music, I don't understand the purpose of it because I don't have all the fancy lights that you change colors and everything else purposely. And I disconnected it. My wife reconnected. I went in there and disconnected and pulled the cable. We're not about to have something listening to us in our house purposely.
Yeah, I got
all
rid of
day
it.
long. It's bad enough the cell phones do it.
You got them. Yeah, that's what I'm saying.
I don't have
cell phone. The cell phone is with you 24/7. So
it's still happening, but I'm trying to limit the amount because keep in mind, here's the deal that most people don't realize: if you have a smartphone or a more up-to-date smartphone, I don't know if you ever noticed that whenever you're having a conversation, either with yourself or with somebody else, then all of a sudden you go back on the social media and you start seeing advertisements for what you talked about in that conversation. These cell phones now are so.
I ain't had that to happen.
I bet you did. Me and you can say something about oodles and noodles and stuff, and then when you open up Facebook again or whatever, there's gonna be some ramen noodle commercial or something on there or advertisement.
I haven't seen that happening. Now
That's
I have
the AI
seen
learning part of it. It does.
It does it, and I mean, it literally does it.
I have seen where if I go to one place to search for something on any kind of electronic device, whether it's a laptop or anything that has picked up my digital footprint behavior, it will track me to some other my personal.
Absolutely.
It does.
That's where it started. And then it started with the conversations. Where I'm going with this is that these front-facing cameras that we have on these phones and stuff now they're tracking your retinas and things like that. They seeing what you get excited about, and they're tracking your retinas. So even as you think about stuff,
the phone is because of your retina.
Yep. I started actually having advertisements popping up on social media, and it wasn't even a conversation I had this time. It was just something I was thinking about, and then I started seeing a bunch of advertisements. I started thinking about certain parts for my truck, and they started popping up on my phone. Didn't tell the wife, didn't tell the kids this time, or anything else in certain things. I started thinking about a swimming pool the other day. I started getting advertisements for swimming pool companies again.
A lot of time people will start thinking you could be a conspiracy theorist, but
I'm not.
A lot of those people aren't. You're walking with blinders on.
Yeah.
Flat out, man. Those phones or devices, and I'm gonna take it a step further. Smartphone, smart TV. The TV is nothing but a bigger version of your phone.
Thank you.
It does the exact same thing.
And there's cameras on them.
And it is on. Trust me.
So when you sit on your couch doing the Al Bundy, your TV's looking at you.
Yeah.
That's why I don't have televisions in my bedrooms or nothing like that. None of the private areas. None of that. Only in common public areas. No TVs in bedrooms and stuff. None of that. No intimate spaces where television, nothing can be, no thanks.
Nothing that can be seen.
No, definitely not. And another thing that I do continuously is walking. Like in the morning when I get up, I go walking.
Are you still doing it? That's what's up. I know you used to call me at times and we would discuss
I do stuff. A few miles in the mornings. Still around that 7:15 hour, I'll go. Or I've been going earlier now. So today I went later. But getting out, exercising, making sure you're taking care of your body. It's very important. And walking is literally the best exercise you can do. Like,
and you're outside, you're propelling yourself.
You're outside. I mean, and even though I get bit by mosquitoes, it still doesn't stop me from getting out there and going to walk. I just wear long sleeves, and I look like it's the wintertime, but people, like, why you got on all that stuff? I'm trying to keep from getting ate up while I'm up out here. I gotta be out here. Gotta do it. But listen, this has been a fantastic conversation. I really appreciate you guys sharing and being so open and transparent. It's a lot going on. We can still stay grateful and full of gratitude and just doing our part to keep our families as joyful as possible. You know what I mean? And like Jason said, and Vincent too, doing everything you can to show the people in your life that you love them and you care about them, and you're sitting down, you're just sitting there, building those foundations. And Vincent always talks about it. Jason talks about it. I talk about it, grabbing them babies. My babies are grown, but I still grab them and love on them, and conversate with them and have conversations with them and do everything that I can to be a great support system. My grandbaby, I get to hear him, making his noises because, he little, tiny human, but he trying to tell you the story. I don't know what he's saying, but he's trying to tell you the story. My little nephew was trying to tell the story too. He was mad with his grandmama this morning. He was going off. He was, it's like, okay, nobody knows what you're saying right now. But what I do know is that you're very upset with her. And, let me talk to her, see if I can get her to act right. Okay. Just calm down, so just find somebody to love on. As I say each and every week, not only love yourself, but love on somebody else. Be a beacon of hope and light to somebody else. People, we all need each other. We all need somebody to be in our corner and to just be there for us. So listen, with that being said, thank you guys for tuning in, tapping in, being here for this week's edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. And we'll see you guys on another edition of the P. Koffe Brown Show. Remember, love yourself and love on somebody else. Peace, and we'll see y'all again soon.